Archimex login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning. Dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Lodgecast Hotline. Brother Bishki here to tell you some of the hot upcoming movies we're going to be reviewing. If you see any of these movies and you have opinions about them, then please leave a voicemail at the phone number 1-877-565-1466, where you can call in your brief movie review and possibly be included in an episode. And don't forget to give us your bone count. Here are some of the hottest upcoming movies the Lodgecast will be reviewing. The Woman in the Window, rated R. Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk, rated R. Mortal Kombat, rated R. Once again, that Lodgecast hotline number is 1-877-565-1466. Call toll free today. Love and light.
Yo, Eddie Furlong here from Terminator 2 and Brain Scan. I want to say congratulations to Matt's movie Lodgecast for over 100 dazzling podcast episodes. You are AMC amazing! Keep chasing those salad dragons and stay awake, Lucas. Stay awake. Love, light, and lodgers. Peace, bitch.
The Lodgecast is a little podcast where we watch weird movies, so you don't have to.
The Lodgecast, baby.
Lodgecast, gonna smoke grass. Lodgecast, missing movie pass. Lodgecast,
We're gonna watch some crap,
Lodgecast,
and then the Lodge Master chats.
With Lucas and Bishki.
Episode 100, coming to America. Hello and welcome to an extra special, momentous episode of the Lodgecast. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki.
Episode 100.
Brother Lucas.
Good evening, Lodgecasters!
And for the first time ever, a man who is the embodiment of the very fabric that holds this sweet movie lodge and Lodgecast together. It's his first time on the show. All hail, Brother Eric.
Hey, the noob's here.
What's up, noob? Welcome to episode 100.
Is this really your first episode, Eric?
Yeah,
This is
I've
it.
listened to some.
I could have sworn we had you on one, no?
No.
This
No?
is it.
Damn.
Number one stunner.
We waited.
We are scattering out the rose petals for you to walk upon as we cover this crazy film coming to America, a super late sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how often do sequels go this late after the original? Like, they're not supposed to do this, but
This
they
seems
did
like
it.
something they would do during the pandemic, but like they did it right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. So before we jump into whatever the hell coming to America is, I think we got to talk a little bit about Coming to America 1988, as well as Mr. Eddie motherfucking Murphy, and where we all stand with him and what our history is. So, Brother Eric, what is your recollection of the original? Like, did you grow up on this? Was this your jam? Or
I think
what,
I saw
what do you
it. I think I only saw edited versions on TBS or like USA or something. And,
oh, that's terrible.
And I remember I liked Louis Anderson at the time, still do. And I liked Eddie Murphy at that time. And that's about all I remembered. And I remember the McDowell scenes.
Yes.
The most.
Of course.
Yeah.
Those are magic for a young kid.
I have very vivid memories as a small child, being 7 or 8 years old, up in Santa Cruz, California, watching my next door neighbor's pirated bootleg copy. They had an Uncle Sid, who ironically was from LA. And Sid
Bless you, Uncle Sid.
Sid would take new releases and rent them like at the video store, and then to dupe them essentially and put like 3 movies on like one tape. So you'd get like a tape with like 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, and that was like your Eddie Murphy tape. And
unedited.
The tape was so worn out from pausing the "Royal Penis is clean, Your Highness" scene, because as kids we were like, wow, like it just would blow your mind. That was a mind blower. Yeah. It would blow your mind. Like you couldn't even fathom that. And to me, the funniest joke in the original is when he's like, "Good morning, neighbors," and the man's like, "Hey man, fuck you," and he's like, Yes, fuck you too.
I mean, Eddie was at the height of his powers. Like, I don't think you could get bigger than he was at that point. And I feel like, I mean, what a perfect marriage of material and stardom, like just colliding, you know? And the fact that he got to be like the humble guy in it to Arsenio's like, you know, wealth lust was just a masterstroke, I think. Like it's an amazing movie. I saw it recently again, knowing this movie was coming up, and it still holds up. I still think it's great. Bishki, what do you remember about Coming to America?
Well, I just saw it a few days ago. I mean, I kind of grew up on it. I kind of think it's one of the first R-rated movies I ever saw, even though it's kind of a family movie outside of, you know, the bathing sequence and a few F words. But Eddie, loved him, and still love him. Arsenio comes off really good in it, like hilarious. Everything's firing. I'm a little lukewarm on John Landis. We watched.
Well, of course,
but
Landis is problematic.
But other than that, the music. I mean, he's a murderer and whatever. But the music is great, and so I was very excited for the sequel. See everyone come back, and most everyone did.
But let it be known, it's not just that Landis is a murderer; it's that he's an asshole. It's like you can be a murderer, right? Like you could accidentally kill a bunch of actors and be apologetic about it and apologize and have remorse and guilt, or you can be John Landis and be a fucking asshole and act like you didn't do anything wrong and that it's not your problem or whatever. And that's why he's a scumbag. Not because because he's a murderer, but because he's just a fucking unforgiving scumbag.
Well, the only thing worse than him is his son, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know what we may be discussing here, just Google John Landis murderer and Max Landis rapist and see what comes up, and you'll have a solid night of reading ahead of you. But Eddie Murphy, he had the fire in his eyes back in '88. Like there's a light behind his eyes that was still there. And I feel like with few exceptions, that light has begun to drain and he just goes through the motions. You look at Beverly Hills Cop 3 and like some of his other 90s stuff, and something happened. He got too big and he got paranoid or something. He stopped trusting people. I don't know what causes you to lose that trillion-watt sparkle.
It's just millions of dollars. It's just enormous financial wealth. I mean, when you become so rich, when you become that rich and you're that like surrounded by, you know, an entourage and yes men and people, you're just like in this echo chamber, this vacuum, right? Where you are like Prince Akeem. You lose touch with reality. I mean, you just totally you lose that eye of the tiger, so to speak, the joie de vivre. Once you, that hunger in your belly metaphorically is fulfilled with anything and everything you could possibly imagine, there's no more yearning. There's no more burning. There's no more toiling away. There's no more wants or needs or ambitions. It's all been satiated, right? Like
it's all been done.
So why care about anything after that?
Like the Stones, right?
Yeah. So much, like so many people and so many bands.
But with Eddie, it's especially heartbreaking because he was so just electric.
Yeah, I mean, Delirious and Raw are two of my favorite stand-up specials of all time. Beverly Hills Cop is like 4 bones for me. Like, he was the greatest in the world. Like,
Raw was right
do you think
before
there's
this, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Or right before
yes.
The first one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you think he's been flirting with and teasing us with coming back to stand up? Do you think there's any way that can successfully happen?
No, I don't think he should.
In 2021, 2022?
I mean, Dolomite is my name. Lodgemaster just mentioned before the cast that he didn't see Dolomite as my name. That's actually, it's about as good as Eddie could get nowadays. Like, he's swearing again. And
gotta get him swearing again.
You gotta get him swearing again. Like, if he's doing kids movies.
But I think stand-up is a trap.
He should just do Raw 2.
I mean, I'd watch it. I'd definitely watch
Somehow make the A in Raw into a 2.
Just
just
make it like a Spalding Gray, like storytelling hour. Like, I don't know.
Just do monologues or be a raconteur.
This is I was gonna say this is what Eddie Murphy should do. He should revive his late brother Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories from Chappelle's Show.
Yes,
and finish all the ones that like Charlie, regrettably never got to tell us, because that Prince story and
Rick James,
the couch story, like, oh my god,
he's got stories.
That's like a live career rewrite, Lucas, and I am on board for it. That's great.
I was just looking at his movies and I forgot he did so many of those, like Fat Suit, just like 17 characters.
Fat suit fart comedies,
which all can be traced back to Coming to America, the '88 version.
Yeah,
because I agree, it's Eddie Murphy's Apex Mountain, and it's like the last Eddie Murphy movie that I own in my own collection. Because everything after that, like, he's just checked out. He's out to lunch, and it's just not worth it. If he's not invested, I'm not invested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see if he was invested in Coming to America. And before we dive in,
Bishy, what's that shot?
From Rotten Tomatoes, set in the lush and royal country of Zamunda, newly crowned King Akeem, Eddie Murphy, and his trusted confidant Arsenio Hall embark on an all-new hilarious adventure that has them traversing the globe from their great African nation to the borough of Queens, New York, where it all began. Period.
That's it. Okay. So, much to my surprise, Louis Anderson's back, John Amos is back, Sherry Headley, who plays Lisa, now Queen Lisa, is back. Like, they got everybody back.
Like, the first minute is like a Super Bowl commercial. It's just like, everyone's there. We're back at McDowell's. Like, Pepsi shows up.
McDowell's has been moved to Zamunda, so that was a good move to get everybody there, like, working on staff at the Zamunda McDowell's. And Wesley Snipes is here as the king of Nextdoria. But he looks amazing, and he's got light behind his eyes. Like, plenty of light. Plenty of love.
Because he's a free man. He's not in prison anymore. Do people know that he was locked up like longer than any other politician?
That was some bullshit.
A real fucking criminal that is like
complete bullshit.
Killed like half the state of Texas with their power outages.
Yeah.
Landis should have been serving his term.
Right?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Both Landises.
Yeah. This movie is complete and utter Coming to America 88 fan service. Like, if you love that movie, it's going to try to give you exactly what you loved about it again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of us were expecting anything else, but holy shit. I can't remember a sequel that has gone to the lengths that this one goes to remind you of all the funny shit from the previous movie.
Lots of refs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, to the point where they are cutting to full-on clips from the original movie. Like, are you allowed to do that anymore?
I couldn't even tell. For a second, I'm like, did they just CG their faces and like redo these scenes?
I mean, I think, I don't know what y'all think, but I think that we go into the flashback of them in their dating, and I think that's a salad dragon as soon as we get into the morphed faces, right?
100%.
The Salad Dragon. A scene in a movie that is so bizarre, baffling, or transcendent that it instantly justifies the price of admission. Or Reese Witherspoon's leafy transformation in A Wrinkle in Time.
So everybody who's seen Coming to America remembers the famous, speed dating montage in the club.
Yeah.
Where they're, testing out all different walks of American female life, including Arsenio Hall and drag and all sorts of stuff going on. And they know everybody loves that scene, so they replay it, but then they de-age Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall and insert them back into the original scene and expand upon it.
It has to be seen.
I was really faded at that part.
It would help to be really faded at that part. Because if you're faded, you might just kind of go with it. But if you're like leaning forward, looking at the de-aging and realizing like the many sins that this movie is committing all at once, I mean, I didn't know what to think. I was truly baffled by that.
I was LOL.
But maybe that's normal for like a regular viewer. Like maybe people will just accept this. I don't know.
I guess like if you're watching it on your cell phone, it's not as bad. But when you're projecting 1080p at over 100 inches like I am on a big bare white wall, it looks like shit.
LT's always whipping out his 100-inch bona fide.
It's changed my life. I mean, you should too. You should all get projectors and it'll change your life. You'll never go back. It's like bathing in a cold river every morning instead of a shower. But no, Bishke hit the nail on the head. It's a Super Bowl commercial, and
it is.
like things are moving at such a steady clip in those first 5, 10, 15 minutes.
They're moving so fast.
And before you can even get reacquainted or familiarize yourself again with our two leads and Zamunda and all that, you're right back into this flashback, and you're like, oh no, it's a clip show. Like they're really gonna show us.
It's a clip show.
Clips, like no, and then that to me instantly made everything, the whole thing, feel like I was watching a pilot, like an Amazon Prime pilot TV show that would be like on like in the real world, like on terrestrial TV, like ABC or CBS or one of those stations. Because I'm like, this is not a movie. Like this does not feel rhythmically, tonally, aesthetically like a movie.
It really doesn't, especially in that early going. And they shove Arsenio's witch doctor persona at you, which really disoriented me. I mean, I loved the makeup, but I'm like, what? Wait, what is going on? The barking woman is back that would do anything for Prince Akeem in the first one.
She's still hopping on one leg and barking.
She's still
30 years later.
She's still doing it. But when I saw her barking, I was like, oh shit, we are really fucked here. Because you can't do that, but they did that.
And then we get 90-year-old
looking good.
James Earl Jones.
He was looking good.
Yeah, dude.
He's looking good, but this might be it for James
That was his
Earl.
deathbed.
I liked when he announced his death too. That was pretty good.
Dude, his funeral.
That's Salad Dragon number 2.
It is.
Double Dragon.
The living funeral for the king, James Earl Jones. I mean, wow. It's Morgan Freeman again. We just saw him as a crab in Barb and Star. He pops up.
More like Morbid Freeman.
En Vogue shows up to sing What a King, What a King, What a King.
That was good.
What a mighty good king.
And Salt and Pepper joins them.
You put Salt and Pepper on the En Vogue. You're stacking them. And then Gladys Knight shows up to sing Midnight Train to Zamunda.
Telling you, she was looking hot.
Yeah, dude.
What is going on?
My bones were so high at this point. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I was really high the first 40 minutes. And I'm going to admit that I was laughing through all of it, like out loud by myself.
Yeah, sure.
And then once my high wore off, like that was exactly when the movie was like wearing off. So, I was like, let me just bring back the good times again, and tried to smoke up a little more. And then it was that part where their faces were going back to the CG, the original movie. And I'm like, I could not figure out what was going on, and really just kind of went with it and like tried to pretend to enjoy it.
No, it's front loaded for sure.
Sometimes you got to do that. You just got to try to survive.
It was like my first movie in a long time. So it's like...
That's true. Oh, that's true. You're a family man. You're raising a young king yourself, and you have not seen a movie in years.
Almost.
Like a full movie.
More than 2, maybe 3. Maybe about 3 years.
Yikes. Yikes.
So I missed, 2019.
No wonder I'm childless, and I'll probably now never have a child.
Well, no, it's like I've started movies and then I'll just like either pass out or walk away or something.
Yeah.
Like YouTube.
Which we should be doing.
Span.
We should be doing that more often.
Well, that's what Paramount kind of did with this movie, actually, because this was supposed to be a theatrical release. Yeah. And they crunched some numbers, or whoever took over the studio, Jim Giannopoulos, looked at the dailies and was like, fuck this. This is a TV show. Let's just dump it on Amazon Prime and we'll keep Top Gun Maverick and whatever other, films we have on the schedule for theatrical. Because we believe in those as like films. Because I'm looking at this going, imagine watching this in the AMC Prime or Dolby Atmos or IMAX. Like, no. I can't even fathom how it would look or feel and play at that level.
It'd feel very odd, but I love that your grand return to the cinema is coming to America. Like that's
from home.
Yeah.
From home. Yes, right. Oh my God. Well, welcome back. I wish it could have been a little more nutritious, but at least there's a lot to look at.
I had fun with it. I'll be honest.
There's a salad crouton. With an unexpected cover of Prince's Get Off that that is involved with Wesley Snipes' daughter, who's trying to woo Eddie Murphy's son.
Forgot about that.
And any movie that features any Prince song, I'm at least going to take notice of. And this one paid proper homage to it. But the plot as a whole, like, it relegates Eddie Murphy to like 4th tier. Like, he is nowhere near the star of this movie. The guy who plays his son is the star.
Yeah, Jermaine Fowler.
Anybody in this movie, pretty much, even the supporting characters, shine brighter than Eddie Murphy in this. He is literally just standing there for most of this movie.
Yeah.
And I just wish, I wish they could have tailor-made it to him a little more, or had done something to get him excited about it, but he's just going through the paces.
I think that has a lot to do with the story and script that Craig Brewer, the director, and Kenya Barris, one of the producer and writers, kind of concocted, about his son, and that he's a long lost son and he's got to go find him and meet him. And yeah, that completely, I feel like it's not like so much in service of Prince Akeem or Eddie's story as much as it is his son just making this discovery that he's like King Ralph, the John Goodman movie.
Right. We got Trevor Noah having a cameo as a Zamundan newscaster. CNN. King Akeem's son in it making a joke about Rotten Tomatoes, calling it Rotten Papayas. Bishki, did you like that joke?
She says, Zamunda Cinema is total baboon dung. He says nothing over 30% on Rotten Papayas.
That's funny, right?
That's pretty funny. They tread really dangerous ground right after that. They said sequels to old movies nobody asked for is what American cinema is. And that's very dangerous ground to bring up in this movie.
Well, they're doing that stupid thing where if they call out exactly what they're doing, they think that they have free reign to do it.
Yeah.
Which they don't. But hell, this whole thing feels like it was maybe 20 years too late, if it even needed to
30,
happen.
Yeah.
So
all it is, like all these movies are that when this happens with sequels, they're just reunions for everybody to like chum it up on camera together, like Ocean's 12 or Ocean's 19 or whatever, and all those movies where they're just like chumming it up, like joking around and leaving some of the ad libs in the movie and stuff. It's just kind of a big whack off for everyone.
Bill and Ted Face the Music.
It's definitely a big old whack off where everybody gets paid a little bit or a lot of bit.
Mm-hmm.
the problem too is that there's not much conflict in this movie.
There's nothing at stake. You know, it's like he's a king. His son's a prince. His son's got a loving mother played by Leslie Jones. So when they find him, it's all good and nothing's at stake. Like nothing. There's nothing to lose. Not even Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is like a lighthearted, silly, dictator.
Warlord.
Yeah, whatever. Like it's no big deal. Like it's all good. It's all good.
Wasn't the son trying to become in the heir to
Yeah,
to what's
but
his
that's
face?
not like.
And it was
like-
between him and the daughter or something. I can't. Dude, this movie is foggy in my head already.
Keep it foggy, dude, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
You should watch it again when when the mood strikes you. But that's literally the only conflict is who will succeed King Akeem on the throne. And you know it from the beginning that the daughter is gonna be the one.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that wants it.
Very predictable.
The prince doesn't want it at all. He just wants to marry his like official groomer, Like it's so fucking clear. So you get that wrapped up in your mind in the first, half of the movie, and then there's just nothing. I mean, there's a bunch of pomp and circumstance. It ends in a big 20-minute ceremony featuring, of course, Sexual Chocolate, because Sexual Chocolate hasn't shown up. They're going to wheel him out. And it's all just greatest hits. It's worth a few smiles. Like, I was smiling, but...
Did you have any LOLs?
I had 2 LOLs, and I think they were both Leslie Jones related.
Yeah,
like one of them was like,
Leslie was bringing it.
why are the mashed potatoes black? And they're like, well, that's caviar.
That was
like,
good.
oh man, she's amazing. But yeah, I was like more just smirking at like the oddity that it was, or if I did laugh, it was more in the like inappropriate way where I was like, I can't believe that this was going to be in theaters. Like imagine
a
paying
baffled laugh.
Imagine paying like a $20 IMAX ticket, like for a clip show. Like you pay that money, right? You pay that $20. And it's like clips from movies you have at home, and you're like, "Fuck, I could be there right now watching
for a
this."
clip show within a Super Bowl commercial. That's the level of derelict comedic inception that we're doing here.
Bishki, did you LOL?
I LOL'd a lot in the beginning. I mean, when Arsenio's de-aged face came on the screen, I LOL'd.
What about Louis' first line? That got me LOLing.
Yeah.
What did he say?
That's a great question.
We are also celebrating the arrival of our new Beyond Big Mick Burger.
I laughed more at you forgetting his first line than I did in the entirety of the movie.
I've laughed more on this Lodgecast listening to you guys describe some of the scenes because they're that just absurd. Yeah. But I forgot everything. And what's funny is we were supposed to record this on Wednesday, but we pushed it. And I said, I might have to rewatch this because I couldn't really remember anything except they got everyone back. And I thought that the original actress who played Lisa, who he married, was great. I was like, oh, wow, where's she been? Does she still act? Like, I haven't seen her since the original Coming to America.
There is a really solid scene, like dramatic scene in the middle of this where it's between her and King Akeem and they're arguing about why the daughter can't be the heir. Like, I thought that was a solid scene. Not funny, wasn't supposed to be funny, but solid acting. I felt a little conflict, a little twinge of conflict. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm watching a movie that I'm actually invested in.
But it's like a drama. It's like a drama.
It's a drama.
At a certain point, it becomes a drama because the main guy is not funny. Jermaine Fowler is just not funny.
And there's a lot of hullabaloo about him stealing a whisker from a sleeping lion that's CG.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I hesitated to bring it up.
The CG lion farts at him. And
God about
my
that.
memory
Yeah, that's
jogged.
right. That is
That's
totally
like the
right.
whole middle of the movie is this CG lion. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tracy Morgan was in it. I forgot about that.
Tracy Morgan was there. Yep, he was having a good time.
Got
Good to
some
see
little-
him.
No LOLs from him, but a little chuckle.
Well, before we forget any more of this film, let's go to them Zamunda Bones. All right, what are we gonna do here? I mean, it feels like we're all sort of on the same stinky page, but Lucas, what do you got going on? You seem happier than usual about this train wreck, so maybe you'll throw it a little bit more love and light than usual, but we'll see. I like to predict.
Oh man, yeah. I don't even know where to begin. I'm just so
Begin at the end.
Yeah, I'm just so glad to see Eddie Murphy working, I guess.
Sure.
Let me start with the love and light, because I do love him, and he's a national treasure, and his early period career, like SNL and 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop, like just absolutely amazing. Delirious, Raw, even The Golden Child for what it is. Like, it's just like awesome stuff. Yeah. And I just wish that he wasn't his own producer, like Eddie Murphy Productions, like produced a lot of stuff in the middle and back half period, because like he just was never disciplined and like never reined in and never challenged.
Right.
And you kind of get these Norbit, Meet Dave kind of Pluto Nash movies, none of which I've seen, by the way. I've never seen any of those, but
you will. I'll make sure you see every frame of all of those.
Yeah, I don't know how this sequel came up, but like if I was Eddie and I'm looking at my filmography and I'm thinking like, man, what would be really cool for 2020 or you know, this new world to do like a sequel to, I would do another 48 Hours, and it'd be like him and Nick Nolte where like, you know, Nick Nolte's like
48 hours
is like in some old folks home, and Eddie Murphy's got to like break them out so they can solve a case, and it's like rated R, and it's like super, you know, controversial, and like, you know, get Walter Hill out of retirement and he can even direct it.
96 hours.
Or no, don't give it to Walter Hill. Give it to like a young black filmmaker or a young female filmmaker. Get someone diverse in there, because that was the other thing. Like, as much as I find Craig Brewer like interesting as a filmmaker, like he's not a person of color. And I think if I'm Eddie Murphy and I'm making a sequel to this, like, why not pass the torch on to someone, you know, and help, you know, like more diverse filmmakers have their voices be heard, because maybe they could have brought something funny and fresh to it, because Kenya Barris, I think, had a pretty big creative hand in co-writing and producing this, and he's from TV. He's a TV writer, you know, so it all just felt like that TV edit, like that pacing. It just felt like a Super Bowl commercial. And like, I just wasn't laughing enough. And I just kept thinking, like, if I wanted to do a sequel to Coming to America, you guys hit the nail on the head. You mentioned it should have been 20, 25, 30 years ago. And instead of it being like them back in New York, it should have them like back in like the West Coast or Los Angeles, like after the 92 riots or something. You shoot it in 93 and like LA, and like, like
some
really
Reggie Denny jokes.
Yeah. Like make it really like in Living Color-esque funny, you know, go toe to toe with that kind of humor and satire. But no, man, like, don't like do it this way, because
don't do us like this.
Yeah, not like this. So I got to give it one bone. Like, I just feel
one
like
all right.
If maybe they flipped it like a little bit, where like, let's say instead of him discovering he has a long lost son,
it's
which
a live rewrite,
I don't know.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What if it was his daughter, right? And she didn't want to get married in Zamunda, and she ran away to Hollywood and became some kind of TikTok star, and Eddie Murphy and his wife have to go get her and bring her home. Like, then it could be about that. Like, I don't know. Like, there could have been so many other ways to do it, but one bone.
That's a live rewrite.
Thank you.
One bone. That's out of the woof rut. That's progress.
Got thrown a bone.
Brother Eric, from what you remember, out of 4 bones or woof, what do you want to give this? What do you want to bestow?
just to kind of go with the theme, I'm just gonna give it 2.
2.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought it
Two
was
bones.
It was a good welcome back for me back to the cinema. How things are nowadays with movies. This is how they all are. They all like this now, so it's kind of good to be
Every one of
back
them.
into it. I liked it, and I liked Louis and Eddie. I did like Eddie for a while, but then I didn't like anything from 90s to early 2000s, really. Even like,
Yeah.
I like the soundtrack of Nutty Professor. It had some pretty good songs on there.
Yeah.
Then I have Eminem and Redman, and then like Aaliyah and like a bunch of
Yeah.
other stuff. But yeah, this movie, I just had fun with it, you know.
You also made the note that Ludacris predicted this movie.
Yeah, the very first song on Word of Mouth is called "Coming Number 2, America."
Yep.
Nice, Luda.
Luda was ahead of the game.
We've been celebrating that track for years.
Yeah, that track probably can't be played too much anymore. So I was listening. I was like, man, he was pretty raunchy, even for my taste.
Those are the days. Yeah. Yeah, you're a family man now. You gotta clean up your act.
Yeah, I got to straighten up. Act like a role model now.
2 bones from Brother Eric.
I think this is the first movie I've ever rated too.
Yeah, dude. This is it. This is so many firsts.
I'm back on top.
Brother Bishke, I have literally no idea what you're about to do here.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been drinking episode 100. Episode 100.
Episode 100.
I'm so
One Hondo.
I'm so glad we're here.
To all the
I'm so
killers and $100 episodes.
Brother Eric is here because this is what it's all about.
I'm gonna toast with you guys. Hold on.
And so here's what I gotta say about Coming Number 2, America. It's a bit of a bone train wreck. Like we talk about the bone train.
Yeah.
It started, I was
up.
very high. I was very high coming off watching the original. We got McDowell's, James Earl Jones, Morgan Freeman, En Vogue, Salt and Pepper, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Or not the Pips, but that amazing...
Gladys Knight sans the Pips.
That amazing de-aged salad dragon that I was laughing so loudly. But the train kept going. And we settled down into a drama. I think the main problem is, I can understand after like Black Panther and Wakanda that they're like, we're going to set this in Zamunda. But
right.
Fish out of water humor doesn't really exist in Zamunda because Zamunda isn't real,
Right.
So it's like the humor there wasn't flying for me. The second half really dragged. Wasn't thrilled with our lead actor, Jermaine Fowler. Very predictable ending, but still had good costumes, good makeup.
Mm-hmm. Amazing costumes.
Good cameos with Dikembe Mutombo and others. John Amos, we didn't mention John Amos, 81-year-old. John Amos.
yeah.
He's back.
From Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems to this. Hell yes. Amos Renaissance.
It's always nice to see Eddie. I wish it was rated R. I wanted some F words from Eddie. It's PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13. Come on.
Whatever.
This movie was like straining against that. Like, fuck that.
No, it's probably raunchier than the first one, but it's still PG-13. But anyway, it's basically a dramatic role for Eddie. And by the time the train arrived at the final destination, I'm going to give it 1.5 bones.
1.5.
Love and light to Eddie. I recommend Dolomite is my name over this one if you want an Eddie
fix.
Want to revisit Eddie in his later years. But watch the first 20 minutes of this film and you might have a good time. So yeah.
And then fade out.
Yeah. And then fade.
Wander away.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. I'm not going to belabor this too much. We're all on the same bone train here. I was smiling. The beginning is edited in a crazy manner that makes you feel like you are just on speed, but it gives you a ton of shit to look at, a ton of shit to smile at. So yeah, the first 20 is definitely worthwhile. And then it's just the bones start dropping off the train from there on out. I have a lot of love for the original. And that nostalgia carries over. I try not to let nostalgia completely paint the fucking bone barn. But, my heart gives it 1 bone. But that nostalgia bump and the fact that I knew Lucas was trying to love it. Bishke was delighted. And Eric's returning to the cinema with this movie.
After years.
Rolled into the nostalgia. I got to bump it up to 1.5. That feels right.
Yeah.
It feels right on the right side of history. So
cheers.
That's where I got to leave it. Cheers to that. Let's drink it up, boys.
Oh,
Episode 100.
Can you see?
We got to get you back out to California, and we'll do this in person. We'll get you in the edge, Brother Eric.
We'll freely cough on each other all day.
Brother Eric, thank you so much
Thank
for
you guys.
spending
This was fun.
spending your important time to gaze upon this film. Episode 100. Let's celebrate.
Episode 100.
Let's get
Keep the party going, fam.
100.
Love and light, y'all.
Love and light. It's time to hear from callers on the Lodgecast hotline. If you got a quick movie review or a question or comment about the Lodgecast, leave us a voicemail at 1-877-565-1466. You can also email us a question at movielodgecast@gmail.com, and we'll try to answer it on the air. And don't forget to hit us up on Instagram at Matt's Movie Lodgecast. Now let's go to the hotline.
Lodge fam, Brother Anthony calling in. Let me just get this out of the way. Coming to America 2, however you want to phrase it, is just a woof. You know, I used to always say with pride that Beverly Hills Cop 3 was the worst sequel ever made. I think it now has a strong competitor in Coming to America. I mean, by the time the Prince review was going on, I can't articulate it.
Say, can you see I'm coming to America?
Right? Right? Ugh.